We are joined by the senator from Tennessee, Bill Hagerty, who was a part of this targeting by Jack Smith and the FBI. And Jordan, I want to toss it over to you as we get right into this with the senator.
Yeah, Senator Hagerty, I just want to get first your reaction when you found out that you were part of these 8 senators and 1 member of Congress, all Republicans, who were targeted by Jack Smith through what appears to be a grand jury that decided that it would be okay for his agents to tap your phones. They call it tolling, which is your location, the duration, and who you were talking to. So what is the other phone number? Your reaction when this news first was released?
Well, Jordan, initially I was shocked and then heartbroken. I mean, if you think about it, if political operatives at the FBI are allowed to do this to me, I'm a sitting United States senator. I was the U.S. ambassador to Japan. If they can do this to me, they can do it to you. They can do it to the American people. If they're so bold to think that they could get away with doing this, having the executive branch law enforcement agency reach over into the legislative branch and come after sitting senators that have oversight responsibilities for them, it is just beyond the pale. And it makes you ask yourself, what else have they gotten away with? If they're that bold, what else did they try to do? We're just getting to the tip of the iceberg here with this revelation, and we need to get to the bottom of it as quickly as possible. I want to see people prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law, not only because I want to do that to dissuade others from doing this in the future, but I think it's critical, Jordan, to restore confidence in institutions like the FBI. The rank and file of the FBI, look at what they're doing in Memphis. They're doing yeoman's work. But you have leadership that is corrupt like this Jack Smith that they brought in, Merrick Garland, who supported it, Christopher Wray. I mean, you have to ask yourself about Christopher Wray, Jordan. If he did know, clearly an abuse of power. If he didn't know, it's a dereliction of duty. This is rotten to the core. And now we've got 8 United States senators that are on top of this.
Yeah, and I mean, you look at the constitutional violations, one, specific protections that do exist just for those federally elected officials like you, Article 1, Section 6, the speech and debate clause, also the Fourth Amendment, the fact of that this, to get a grand jury warrant, they would have to say that this was somehow connected to a criminal act, that these phone calls would somehow help them determine whether a probable cause exists that other crimes were committed. I mean, all of this just reeks. And of course, they go into likely a grand jury in Washington, D.C., and they just get rubber stamps to track your phones. And like you said, Senator Hagerty, I can't believe this is the end of this. I really believe this is just the beginning.
No, you're exactly right, Jordan. I tell you, as you ran through the constitutional implications, it just made me thankful that I have a friend like you that is such a great constitutional scholar. I know where to go for help on this, and we're going to need a lot of help to get to the bottom of the constitutional violations and the criminal activity. If you think about where this could lead, this is something that's going to have to be blown wide open. And again, we've got to do this for the sake of confidence in the institutions like the FBI, but we've also got to make certain that this type of thing never happens again. And I'll just reiterate, some of the things that the Biden FBI has done to the American public. And when you take all this into perspective, you've got to ask yourself, what has happened? What has gone wrong when the FBI can basically sick their agents on parents who go to school board meetings and actually speak out about their concerns about graphic material that's being presented, or even worse, school officials that are, quote, transitioning their children without letting the parents know. They complain about this, they get surveilled. You think what they did right in Tennessee, in my home state, your home state, the pro-life individuals that were in the vicinity of an abortion clinic, they were prosecuted. They were as peaceful a protesters as you could imagine, prosecuted. If you think about the raid on Mar-a-Lago, that was an absolute disgrace. Democrats didn't blink an eye. They even targeted Catholics in America for the way they worship and their beliefs. It just goes on, and you've got to ask yourself, where does it stop? But if they were bold enough to come after me, again, a sitting senator, a former U.S. ambassador to Japan, they're bold enough to come after me, they're bold enough to come after 7 of my Senate colleagues here and a congressman, then who knows what they've done. And we're going to have to get as deep into this as we personally can and hold these people accountable.
Senator, we also know that, the Attorney General this morning was being questioned by your colleagues in the Judiciary Committee that were asking questions much about this. But I know this just came out last night. There's a lot of people still processing it, including we here at the ACLJ. It appears that the FBI and the Department of Justice currently are taking this seriously and looking at steps to remedy this and see what potential punishments can come from this as well. But I was curious if you and your colleagues have discussed about anything on the oversight side of the Senate in looking into this as well to hold this accountable and get more information out to the American people.
Well, we just got the news last night. We huddled afterwards. I spoke with Chuck Grassley, who's the chairman of the Oversight Committee. He's running the oversight on this. Ron Johnson has been working with him. Told him that I'm there with him every step of the way from this point forward. I have no idea that this type of abuse was occurring at this level. I think we all knew. I just went through the litany of examples that the FBI has run amok, that the Biden administration completely weaponized law enforcement here. But they were willing to go to this extent. Makes me think that this is something that is much, much larger than we ever imagined in the first place. But if you go back to the basics, this started under Barack Obama. You may recall I was one of President Trump's finance chairmen when he was a candidate back in 2016. I moved into Trump Tower the day after the election to help him with the transition. I was surveilled then by the FBI under this false Russia hoax operation. And that happened that was the Obama administration and Comey. And then you roll forward under the Biden administration, it just got 10 times worse with all of the things that they did to basically try to take out Joe Biden's number one political opponent, that was Donald Trump. They weaponized the legal system across America. They brought charges that were absolutely ridiculous and unfounded. They cost people their jobs. They cost people their livelihoods and careers. They did it to Michael Flynn. They did it, in the previous administration and in the first Trump 45 term. Michael's office was 3 doors down from me in Trump Tower when we were doing the transition, and they surveilled him and they took him out, threatening to break him financially, going after his son. You think about what they did to Peter Navarro. Peter, basically just invoked executive privilege, and they decided that they're going to jail him. They did. Peter is a tough guy. He's a great guy. He survived it, but they put him in jail for months. Now Peter's back, and I think he's going to be very interested in getting to the bottom of this as well. This weaponization is damaging our nation. The Democrats, again, accuse Republicans and accuse Donald Trump of being a threat to democracy. They're simply projecting exactly what they are doing and what they have been doing.
Senator Hagerty, I know that this is just the beginning when it comes to investigating this matter. I remember the 2016 issue. And again, at that point in time, you were working as a private citizen to assist the transition, knowing that your phones were being tapped. And then you go, flash forward again, you've been ambassador, then you become a senator. Phone gets tapped again by the same law enforcement division that we all believe is overly politicized. So there's a lot more here. This is just the 1.5 pages that we've gotten so far. But I do want to ask you before you go, because I know our audience cares about this, the Schumer shutdown talks and negotiations, where do you see things stand as of today?
Well, right now, I think Schumer is evaluating his own political status in New York State. At its very core, this is raw politics in action. If you were to poll today, and we have, if you poll New York State, AOC defeats Chuck Schumer in a Democrat primary. He can't have that. And he won't give AOC the talking point that he, quote, took a knee to Trump, that he caved to Trump. So he's showing that he can fight. He doesn't know what he's fighting for. They can't articulate that. This $1.5 trillion ransom to keep the government open for a few weeks is just absolutely preposterous. But he's, going on TV showing his fight, and I think this really gets down to his political survival. This is Chuck Schumer proving his political manhood in New York State, and he's willing to do it at the cost of $400 million per day to the U.S. taxpayers who are already in single-digit billions of dollars. While he's doing his political stunt, Americans suffer. And the longer this goes, the suffering is going to get much, much worse.
Senator Hagerty, we so appreciate you spending the time with us to talk about this news that just broke last night that involves you directly, the tapping of your phone during this Jack Smith investigation, and 7 of your Senate colleagues and other House members, as well as the shutdown. We will stay on this. ACLJ is going to get on this too. Senator, we appreciate you joining us.
Thank you so much, Stuart, and always good to be with you.